Hello, hello.
Hello.
Still having fun with the system, huh?
Actually,
We're live. It's Let's Talk Racing.
just barely we're live now.
Well, I tried hard anyway.
You hit
Uh,
it. You hit it just as it said in live video. So
well, that's good. Live is Let's Talk Racing
there you go.
with PC Doctor, Doc, Dave Terrell. And here comes our wonderful and beautiful Sharon Boswell. And here comes Sharon.
And here
Oh,
comes Sharon. Here comes
yeah, it
Sharon.
is. Here we go.
You know how it
Oh,
is down in that out in the hillbilly area.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
got
you missed your introduction. I said, and here comes our
I
wonderful and
read
beautiful
myself.
Sharon Boswell.
Sure. Hello, hello.
And we just got online just as I was saying, and here we are live on Let's Talk Racing.
look at you with the
Just in time.
rising shirt on.
I had to work today, so I have my work clothes on.
Oh, you work for Verizon?
I work for a marketing company, and I represent AMD. So yes,
I'll take a 2X.
You represent. I'm lost still. You represent who?
AMD.
AMD is
AMD.
makes
AMD.
rising
They
process.
Yeah.
make Ryzen processors. Yeah. So yeah, I had to work today.
I'm
So
gonna,
Oh, that's
I'm
why
gonna
I've
do
heard that
let's
name, Ryzen. Ryzen processors.
right.
let's
We're
talk
in.
Yep.
computers instead of racing today.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do that. Let's talk computers. Yeah, so they're Intel's competitor, but Intel is on the brink of being bought out. So
Oh my God, who's doing that?
Who's got that kind of money?
Qualcomm.
Oh,
Who?
oh yeah. Qualcomm's been around a while, and those two have always been a battle with each other.
So Roger, I'm sure you've heard of Snapdragon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That's owned by Qualcomm.
Oh, Qualcomm. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Qualcomm owns Snapdragon. And
Uh-huh.
Snapdragons, I mean, they're not even up to half a speed with Ryzen yet. So, but
Well,
they're in the process of maybe buying out Intel. Intel's having some
interesting. Well, I've heard
difficulty.
they've had some issues and had some drop in on the Nasdaq or whatever heck their numbers are, those kinds of things. So
That's because
interesting.
these guys are kicking their butt.
Yeah, it's a well, and one of the big things about it was that Biden back in his day, when he wasn't busy lying. Oh, did I say that? No, he was giving money
I didn't
to
know he
the
ever stopped.
he was giving out money to those chip makers to try to bring uh, chips, the chip processing and those kind of things back to the U.S. like it used to be,
Texas
um,
Instruments.
Mm.
until it got dirt cheap overseas. And they all were supposed to get lots and lots of money. That's what he was trying to do. That was one of the things. And not throwing this out there for political. He was trying to get all those promises pushed out the door before Trump came in. So I thought Intel was going to be saved by that, but apparently something internal and other things is making them fall down as well too. Interesting. So I'm looking at the
I
NASCAR
mean,
website on news for today, and not really great news, really, is it? That well, it shows a picture of Tony Rediger, and it says key players in 24-25 silly season. And I guess the key play with her is that she's going to a full 2025 truck ride. We talked about that, I think, last week as well, too.
I also see
Uh,
that she's posing for Sports Illustrated swimsuit
she
again.
did, she did that some time ago.
She's doing it
Uh,
again.
a nice looking girl. Flaunt it if you got it. I guess the way it goes, but some industries don't really care a lot for that.
Right.
They
But
sure don't know nothing about that.
Huh?
well, he said Sharon don't know nothing about
I don't have
that.
nothing to flaunt. So
Ah,
We
well, it
disagree.
just I was really shocked, and I didn't say it last time we were discussing this that someone's actually picked her up for a full season truck ride when she's done really nothing in ARCA. I mean, she's gotten up there and then dropped back down again. She just never like many other guys out there and girls that just have never have been able to complete that whole cycle of I moved up and I dropped back. I move up and I drop back. She just hasn't had a I don't know that she's had a really successful season except to say that when you get top fives and top tens or 15s and 20s, that's a good season. But I typically don't know that that would mean somebody needs to move up into the next level series. But she apparently has got money for a sponsor. I don't know that. I'm just saying, usually that's the only way you're going to move anywhere anymore. And if you don't bring money with you, they don't want nothing to do with you.
Well, I mean, if she's got the money to do it, there's kind of like Haley Deegan. I mean, she had it for a while, but then people got tired of dishing out all that money and not really getting anything on the return of revenue. So,
well, they might as well get used to it because she ain't going to do any better when she goes somewhere else. But speaking of that, and somebody that will make their money is that Andre sent us a thing out on our group about Butterbean.
Yeah, Butterbean going ARCA.
Butterbean's moving on to ARCA Racing East, I think it is. And I guess he's still going to do some part-time truck driving as well too. So good for him.
Yeah. Who's the new team he's going to work with in ARCA though?
I saw Andre had something on a post of it. I can't remember. Let me go back and look and see where is our message stuff. How come it's not here today? Here, oh, there we are. Here, Andre sent it out earlier today in our Let's Talk Racing group. I think there he is, right there.
The 28 car.
PRG, whoever that is.
Pinnacle
PRG
Group.
Pinnacle Racing Group is a professional, multifaceted motorsports team specializing in providing productive and fulfilling careers for team members, while also being a leader in on-track performance and driver development, primarily in the ARCA Menard Series. NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly. Well, he's already done NASCAR Auto Parts Weekly. He's won a championship, ZMAX Cars Tours.
I'm doing the show.
Now it's time for him to move up to the ARCA Series. And look at who's the general manager for that. I'm kind of surprised. Everybody should know the name of Shane Huffman, don't we?
Yep.
His name has been around a long time. And Mark and Jerry Webb are the owners. That's interesting. I don't know the rest of the folks, but good to see Shane Huffman's name out there. Good for him, though. Good for Butterbean. A twofold career moving on. Full-time, I guess, ARCA East or ARCA somewhere. And then part-time truck driving in the truck series. That'll be good for him. I think he learned a thing or two last year that driving trucks was not quite what they thought it was going to be.
he could do the short track. It's the long track that's kicking his
head. That's what got him beat.
Well, trucks are so much different than the cars, too.
Aren't they, though? Yes, very much
so, I don't think people really understand it because a lot of people go right from ARCA into Xfinity. They don't do the trucks because they're so much different. The weight in the back is so much different than the cars.
Yeah, trucks are different, much different. Yeah, Sharon's right.
The handling is so much different. I mean, it's just different.
Yeah.
I was glad when Leland just skipped trucks and went right to ARCA. So that was a smart move on his part, I think.
Yeah, and he's done well since then too. So that was a good thing.
Doing all right. This was his first full year with Xfinity, so we'll see what next year happens. I mean, that was a kid who was out here with the dream from Arizona and made it happen. So can make it happen.
Yeah, and I was too busy talking, I guess, to welcome our good buddy Dwayne. Good evening, Dwayne.
Hello, guys.
Yeah.
I was involved in doing some other stuff, and I was sitting over here in my chair, and my phone went ding, and I looked down at my phone, and they're on.
They're on.
Everybody's on. So how was everybody's Thanksgiving? Everybody get with their family and have a good time? Yeah, good.
I did. My son and his family came down from New Jersey, and my daughter came down from Williamsburg with her two boys. We had a house full. And I'll have to give a plug out there. Not that they really need it because they're busy as hell all the time anyway. For Cracker Barrel, every single thing that I thought about and wanted to hear about, was told is completely correct. That Thanksgiving feast that you get, it's well worth the money, and the food quality is top of the line. It's just like you'd expect for Cracker Barrel, hands down. We fed 10 people, and we had enough. Now I did augment it with a ham. I got a half of a honey baked ham, which was 4.6 pounds. So between ham and turkey and all the other fixings that went along with it, we fed 10 people, and we had enough to feed another 10. That much food came with it.
Wow.
$179 for Cracker Barrel, and the ham was half expensive. It was $76 for the ham, for almost 4.5 pounds. So while it is expensive, it's a very good ham as well too, honey baked ham. So if you decide you don't want to cook, I did spend about 4 hours in the kitchen reheating things because you have to reheat them separately.
Right.
Even though the oddball part of it, the reheat temperature was 400 degrees for everything. So that was I got 2 turkey breasts. It took me 60, 70 minutes to cook those. I had 2 pans of sweet potato souffle and cornbread pudding, and I was able to heat both of those at the same time. I got plenty of room in the oven for that, putting them on 2 different container shelves. The mashed potatoes, take them out, microwave them 4-minute increments and stir them up. What else were the green beans? We just put them in a pot. 25 minutes later, they're done. And then they gave me 24 little 2x2 rolls. Every single thing in it was perfect. So, how long does it take to defrost a turkey? If you plan for it early, and then how long does it take the damn thing to cook, and all you got to do to get ready? It was a pleasure to just put all that together and be done with it in 4 hours, and we could sit down and eat.
I had it a little easier than you. We all just went to Golden Corral.
Believe it or not, it was a day or 2 later. They talked about trying to go somewhere for something like that, and I said no, thank you.
It was busy, but it was good. I mean, they had ham, they had turkey, they had steak, they had pot roast, and lots of.
Oh wow!
So there was, they had the.
We went to a friend's house we've done for the last couple of years, and
oh, good.
And she did a little bit of everything, and my wife, bless her, she got a can of jellied cranberry sauce and a box of stovetop stuffing for me, because the other stuffing that our friend makes is some ingredients are not my favorite. I mean, I had a small amount of it. There was so much stuff. She made mashed potatoes, genuine mashed potatoes. She pulled a piss after. So we had a lot of stuff, and they shared a lot of stuff with us. We had half a dozen containers at least of stuff coming back home. So
I know. I mean,
a real turkey sandwich for lunch the next day. From the turkey, Thanksgiving turkey, not the sliced turkey you buy in the store.
That's the bad thing about going out. You don't have any leftovers. But the good thing is I don't have any mess up to clean neither. So
that's for damn sure. Yep. Our mess simply went right straight into the dishwasher. So
there you go.
There was some cleanup, but not bad. But yeah, it's my grandson, my daughter lives in Williamsburg, so they're used to coming down here and having Thanksgiving dinner with me, and then we split up what's left over and send them home with them. Well, he went home that evening, fell asleep on the couch, woke up about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and then my daughter says, he texted her because I think she was maybe he was downstairs, maybe it was the next day, I don't remember which. He texted his mom and said, "Mom, we don't have any leftovers." he was looking for something.
Looking forward to it, yes, sir.
And it had been such a crazy day because my son came down from Jersey. He wasn't able to come down Wednesday because his wife got off late, so he came in Thursday just before about 2 o'clock. So it was kind of crazy. We had a house full, but that poor boy, he was so disappointed not to be able to go in and find some leftover ham and turkey or dressing and all that good stuff. And it was all here. It was all at Pop-Up's house.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, it does.
Back to racing news, I guess. I see.
Oh, yes.
Eric and Holly Jones welcome the son.
Oh,
David boy, David Wayne Jones. So congratulations to Eric Jones on his little bundle of joy that came.
Well, that's good. And who was that for?
Eric Jones.
Oh, Jones. Yeah, 43 car.
Yeah. So, that happened. So, and I see there was some more stuff going on with the 2311s and
I saw that.
They dismissed it.
Yeah.
I don't. So
dismissed what?
The lawsuit.
No. I didn't hear that.
something about NASCAR
No.
was going to dismiss the lawsuit, and I'm like, what?
No, there's something. It's a couple different things going on, and the minor thing got set aside or whatever. Not that the main part of the lawsuit is still ongoing.
Yeah, that's what I'm
exactly
thinking.
what it was. It was something to do with allowing them to race next year with charters.
Yeah, they were
and NASCAR's were supplied recently about if they purchase charter from the SHR, reduction in force, if you will, of that group, then those charters were signed and paid for under the agreement, and they either were not going to allow them to use them, unless they meet the agreement. So it's a hoorah with that right now. So those whoever gets those charters, if it's two litigants, they're not going to be able to use them.
And apparently NASCAR has to approve who gets the charter.
Right.
The sale of yeah.
That's always that's.
I think it's going to be an uphill battle for them.
You could lease them for a couple of years, and then you could had to take it back or sell it or something like that. You couldn't lease it forever.
You know what they say when it comes to lawsuits, don't you? The only people that win are the lawyers.
Absolutely.
Not really.
And those two groups of lawyers, I don't know if they've met before in court, but both of them have experience with this stuff and the big sports like football and baseball and stuff like that. The guys at the 2311 and FRS, FMR, whatever, have been involved in lawsuits with baseball about getting some of the contract restrictions eliminated that allow the players to get more money and move around more freely and stuff like that. So
they'd be a fool to hire lawyers that didn't have experience, because there's too much money involved in this stuff.
Oh yeah, and then NASCAR got some big shot too. I don't know if those two groups have ever butted heads before, but they're in the same arena, the big boy arena, with a lot of money at stake and a lot of money. I'm sure they're charging obscene amount of money per hour or however they're doing it.
Yeah, I seen Rogers posted on the website this afternoon. MHR adds Connor Mozak to their lineup. McNally Hickerman Racing. Connor Mozak, I guess, is going to race full time in Truck Series next year, which is good for him. He's good driver. Done well so far when he's raced. So glad to see some of these names finally getting put out there where they can start making some moves on their own. And I think it's time for some new blood in the Truck Series, don't you? I mean, how many years have we been looking at the same names, and they're just kind of moving the dice around a little bit? And there is some new blood. But
that's the same with the Cup Series too. Like some of the guys, it's time. It's time.
Yeah.
Well, I think Sharon is correct as far as like Butterbean going to ARCA. I think that's the way to go for him. It's a car. The truck is so much different, and they run the bigger tracks, and the aerodynamics are totally different, as you would expect with that, square roof and all that. So
he'll get a lot more exposure with ARCA, since he's not going to be a full-time Cup, Xfinity, or Truck Series.
Well, they also
he'll get a lot of exposure with ARCA.
The other series that he's been running too with that group, so he can run a couple different places and some late models for him if he wanted to as well. I think that's going to be an outstanding situation for him, and I wish him all the best. Young man is a really nice kid. What little I talked about him for a few moments, Roger chatted with him a little bit, and he said hi to me, and he's very nice. And he's obviously very talented.
Back on the show. We need to get him back on the show.
He's busy. He's really busy.
He has been really busy. I've been trying to get him.
Everybody's really busy.
Yeah, with all this stuff going on, and he announced he's going to be this new team and all that stuff. So I'm sure he's been involved in a lot of stuff.
He's being pulled left and right. Wouldn't you think, Dwayne?
Yeah. Well, he's been so successful that I'm sure he's out looking for his best situation and probably been contacted by a number of people. And so I'm sure this is something that just didn't happen. It's been, work in the background. I mean, I'm not familiar with all that stuff, but I'm sure that there was a lot of stuff going on that was not announced, not discussed publicly until it's signed. You know how that works. So, good for him, and hope to see him doing a little action. And the ARCA race, I always like the ARCA series. They ran on dirt when NASCAR didn't, the Cup Series, and they still run a couple dirt races. And I think that Butterbean has run some of the dirt late models here in the region. I think the Langley's track owner got him into a dirt late model, and everybody else Butterbean's fans got upset and said, "Oh my gosh, no, no, no!"
He used to run them up at Saluda. He used to run late model dirt late models up at Saluda as well too. John Staten and family had the drive. Yep.
But it's
he's got good sponsors in the Staten family for one, and their business BCR.
Well, the ARCA series also does run some tracks that the Xfinity Cup does run.
Yeah.
So he'll get some
exposure,
car experience and exposure. Because what happens is, particularly if it's one of those weekends that the NASCAR teams, both Xfinity and the Cup teams, are there when the ARCA teams run. Unfortunately, the rules are such now that used to be a guy ran an ARCA race one day, could run Daytona 500 the next day if you could qualify for it. But that's been a long time ago now.
Yeah.
But, what's interesting in talking about teams and stuff, there were some other announcements, and I think Andre shared some stuff with us. And, we remember talked about Andretti was trying to get Cadillac and go Formula One racing, and they rejected it last year. Michael Andretti has kind of stepped away from that organization, as they call it, and it looks like they're going to run next year as a Cadillac team, so it's associated with General Motors, of course. And apparently he has, they've got a big organization in building the stuff in the Indianapolis area, and they built one in England because all the teams except Ferrari and RB, which both out of Italy, come out of England, basically. Apparently he's going out of those organizations as well, and that's, got his name on it or a family name on it. So I don't know what was going on with that. He recently apparently really took some people off, and the organization, I guess, he wasn't 100% control of the deal or whatever, and so the financial partners and stuff kind of suggested he move on. So we'll see about that, but
kind of sounds
interesting. The GM's going to run a Ferrari engine. I mean, if we're going to do, they're going to run a Ferrari engine or a Honda engine until the new regulations come in a couple of years now, and then they'll have the power plant.
What was that, Sharon?
So it kind of sounds like what happened to Mr. Petty a little bit, huh? Kind of got pushed out of his own company.
Well, now, is it which Andretti is the company named after? I mean, the dad or the son?
Well, it just ran Andretti Global. Michael was right.
Oh, I got you.
His dad was kind of the ambassador and the face of the team to some degree. I think he did some comments in Congress when it first were rejected. Tried to get something going on in U.S. Congress, which I don't think got anywhere and wouldn't have got anywhere because that's a private. FAA is a private organization. It's a private business, if you will, and the people actually.
Yeah, I cut my own video off.
Doing that stuff are it's two groups. There's a group that's running the show, if you will, and the teams themselves, and the teams are the one objected to it the most. But I don't know what went all on with that. I guess he's behind the scenes has been offensive to some people and whatever. So that's he's been pushed out basically of his own. I don't know. He got obviously other investors involved. Just like Michael Waltrip Racing. There was it wasn't Michael's money. It was somebody else's money.
Yeah.
Well,
interesting thing too. The Andre sent to us that Toyota's going. After 25 years, yada yada yada, they're dropping out of NHRA. And they showed 3 funny cars. They've got Toyota bodies on them, but that's not a Toyota engine, folks.
Let's see what I'm doing.
Interesting they're dropping out of that, but that's.
So I read something else a little bit interesting. I don't know if you guys heard about this or not, But Penske Entertainment is supposedly be purchasing Long Beach. Have you guys heard anything about that?
Yeah, Penske Entertainment. Yeah, possibility. The Long Beach organization. It dates back to where Christopher Robin Pook was the gentleman's name.
Mm-hmm.
And originally was a Formula One race, and it was a IndyCar race or kart race or one or the other or both, depending on which organization they ran. Street race, of course. And Penske.
The article I read said there's a chance that NASCAR might want to try to race there. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Would it be a good track for him to race at? If it was F1?
I don't know how wide it is. An interesting thing about one of the NASCAR bigwigs the other day was a quote saying they lost $50 million on the Chicago race. NASCAR.
I believe that.
Sure.
It should never had the Chicago freaking street racing.
Well, how many times they've run there now? They run once or twice?
Twice.
Okay,
yeah.
I guess next year's going to be last year. I think it was a 3-year contract.
The 3-year contract, yeah. But I mean, if you're losing that kind of money, I would and the city of Chicago's losing money. They probably both would agree to get out of this contract.
Yeah, well, it's right down, from what I understand, it's right down in the area where the large tourists would be. It's on the waterfront. There's museums and stuff like that were closed down. Employees couldn't work. The people that were trying to go to work in some organizations in that area couldn't get there. And
because everything was
the whole city up.
They couldn't get in.
Like
it was just everything was so fenced off, nobody could get into their jobs.
And the businesses were losing money and everything. So
sure,
maybe if they did something different, it would be different. I mean,
Long Beach has been running for quite so many years now. It goes back quite a while, number of years. I don't know.
Are they still running their currently F1s or Indy or what? What are they running there currently?
They ran Formula One. They ran Indy cars. They've been running Indy cars there recently.
Okay, so it is current up to grade track then.
Right, that track has been there for quite a while, so I think they're pretty well organized as far as everybody in the area that's got businesses or apartment houses or whatever are familiar with it and deal with it, and have dealt with it for a number of years now. So it's not like Chicago throwing something out there. It's I would say all the kinks are out of it, if you will. If NASCAR want to do something there, who knows? There's a couple of great road courses out there that they've never touched. I think
it might add some excitement to it then to do.
Laguna, I think it's Laguna Seca's got the corkscrew. Is it Laguna Seca got the corkscrew? I would love to see stock cars going down the corkscrew on that track out in California.
Oh, there we go. Maybe
they have to put a lot of records on it.
Maybe they'll figure out something, because that's what it said. It said NASCAR to Long Beach ? And I'm like,
Yeah, well, Penske being involved with NASCAR, with you're running with IndyCar and all that kind of stuff on the Indianapolis track, but running NASCAR, and all that, then I'm sure there'd be some talk somewhere along the line. Another one of those things we'll never know about unless it happens, unless it's publicly announced.
Well, I mean, with them owning it might give them a better option to run a NASCAR there, I guess. I mean, but I would also, they're going to do their Indy deal as well, I'm sure. Why not do both? Oh my God, do them both the same weekend. That way you can, no, seriously, think of
I was going to say, what a concept.
Well, they used to do that. When I went to MIS, one day would be IndyCar and the next day would be Winston Cup. So, that's
the big argument about that is, the reason I didn't mention is who's going to be considered the premier organization there, because Sunday is the premier day. Now, IndyCar has been building up their viewership quite well and doing really well. They've got a nice new contract. I forget who it's with. But they're going to race Sundays. They run a lot of their races are like a twin races kind of thing. They run Saturday. Would they be willing to do that? They kind of step back, because they're trying to get up to where they're butting heads with NASCAR again. I mean, NASCAR was chasing IndyCar for decades.
They could probably do them both in the same day, because like at MIS they had the twin 200s. Indy did 200 laps. NASCAR 200
I
laps.
remember that.
They started early in the morning, and by evening it was done. So, and they had like a little break in between the races where they had entertainment and stuff, so that the pit crew could change out and everything. So it can be done. It can be done, and I think that would be really good because it would introduce each fan to each sport. I mean, some people
I thought about that myself.
I think the only downside is that if there is such a thing as a downside, because I know Cup drivers complain about it, and others do too. Different rubbers. One's one type of tire, one runs another type of tire. So who gets to go first is really premium. And then what they can do with the different the track surfaces when the rubbers get down.
Put the resin
down.
The
other thing is that if it's going to be two races run there, two different organizations run, and it's at Long Beach, where they're going to have all the equipment, and I mean the haulers and all that stuff. Where they store that, because that's downtown.
Yeah, that's always
near the ocean front.
But I mean, it is.
I guess that's a minor consideration
roads, right? So they probably. I don't know if they could use the resin down there or not in between the races to.
Yeah.
For the NASCAR drivers or whatever, it would be a cool concept, though. Or
it would.
One on Saturday and one on Sunday. I mean.
Yeah, I think it would work better. I don't know who NASCAR probably on Sunday, and IndyCar might let them.
Well, based on viewerships and stats, NASCAR would have that right, I think, because I mean, NASCAR is like the second biggest sport watched after football. So, football's the only sport that pretty much beats NASCAR outright.
Used to be. NASCAR tried to get up there one time and beat the football guys, but didn't quite get there.
Yeah,
and they fell to pieces after that.
I'm seeing something. I got a question for. Maybe y'all might know the answer to. On Jayski's news, it says Justin Marks says Trackhouse Racing's Project 91 will return, but I'm not sure myself what Project 91 was.
Well, that's where SVG drove the car. Project 91 is bringing other drivers in, like they may be some more supercar guys coming from Australia.
Their story talks about in March.
WEC.
They're talking in March that Kimi Räikkönen.
Räikkönen Formula One
drove the 91 car for a bit,
right?
During practice at a Cup Series in Echo Park. So I guess that's what they're trying to filter some more drivers into it, huh?
Right.
I know Will
Echo
Brown's
Park thing was a race in Texas.
Will Brown's planning on running 2 Cup races next year.
Will Brown or Will Power?
Will Brown. He's a supercar champion.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. I'm just thinking of the Formula One stuff. Okay, it was just a story came out just this morning at 8:00, so I wasn't sure if it's something y'all knew something about or not. I didn't know what Project 91 was.
Done it before. I think that's actually the car SVG drove Chicago, right?
Well, that's cool.
The concept by that is bringing some different drivers, different names in. Probably money as well. I mean, SVG has got some,
and that's where your cross
basically.
Cross racing comes in, bringing other drivers and another fan.
Yeah,
it's just like Christopher Bell said something about he'd like to run the Indy 500. I read something about that. And with Kyle Larson going over there, NASCAR fans are going to go watch him, even if they don't watch me. They're going to go watch him.
Well, that's why NASCAR is doing all they could to support Kyle Larson last year, because it's that crossover. I'm not a fan of some of it. What I liked about SVG coming to run Chicago that first year, he decided he liked it so much and did so well, and I'm sure the money was so well, he made a full-time commitment to come here to run it full-time, not just a one and done and go play with something else.
Right. My friend in Australia said that he has raced about everything there is to race down there. He wants to race something else, and I guess he probably talked to Marcus Ambrose, who was successful down there, and then came up and ran a number of years in NASCAR Cup Series in a Little Debbie car. I remember when Little Debbie car Dougherty joined in. Little Debbie, the HCT team went from Ford to Chevrolet, so they painted all this Ford logos off of the front of that early model Fusion in the print ads. I said, that's not Chevrolet. But he said that SVG wants to run a number of different things. So he's doing pretty well. I think he's getting more acclimated to oval track racing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that it takes people, that people run the other series in Formula One and all this kind of stuff, and I think the supercar guys are a little more understanding and say, well, it's kind of what we're doing, so we understand how tough it can be. A lot of the race series around the world go like, oh, they just turn in circles, and somebody gets in one of those cars, and then vast majority of them struggle like all get out.
Yeah. See,
my first year with Richard Petty, Marcus Ambrose was on the team.
Yeah, I remember.
He was a fun person to be around.
He was a phenomenon in and of himself, and just like SVG is too.
Well, Marcus went back to Australia because he wanted his kids to be raised in Australia because they got old enough to really, go to school, I guess, or whatever. So that was about time for him.
And he excelled at the same as SVG on the road courses. These guys seem to just dominate the road courses. So I don't know.
They got a lot of experience with that.
Yeah. So.
Being able to feel a car better for a road course is good. Like you said, he's not fully acclimated himself to ovals just yet, but the car's different. Things adjust different. Drivers and other drivers are different as well too. So he'll come around. I think the thing with the SVG, and I've never been a fan of a 3-digit name, but be that as it may, I like the name Shane anyway. But I think he's one of the smarter ones to cross over. I think he's going to be a fast learner. I knew it would take him at least a year. This will be his second year and stuff coming in too. But he was full time last year, along with some Xfinity runs as well too. So I think he's going to be somebody to contend with this coming year, I believe, because he's with a good team. He's a good team, good car, good crew chief.
I mean, he came here and won the very first race he was in Chicago.
It was a road course.
It was a little different than everything else we've done.
It was a road course race, but when I say it's a fluke, I think a small piece of it might have been a fluke. But he's a damn good driver.
Oh yeah.
And it was something he's used to driving in.
Well, the thing is, with that first Chicago race, he ran about fourth. I think it was around fourth for almost the entire race until the last few laps when all things, kind of developed.
Well, I remember them showing his feet on TV, and he did his feet different than the NASCAR driver, they said. So
yeah,
I don't know if that has something to do with it or not. Maybe he has a secret.
Everybody's style is different when it comes to that. I mean, for the heel and toe thing has been around for years. That's what the old school drivers and how they all learned.
Done that
growing up. Yep, always have. But it takes a while I think it's harder probably for the NASCAR driver to get used to it over the Formula One and such, because it's been around in that series longer than it has. Well, Cup guys just haven't done it that much. But
Ricky Rudd said that biggest mistake he ever made was allowing to put a camera on his feet, because they featured it a lot on the races they did. And everybody did it on videotape because that was what the day at the time, and all the drivers studied it. He said they started catching me after I started letting them show it on TV.
Looks like Andre sent a couple more things again. Something about no Camaro in 2025.
Yeah, they're all going to be labeled Chevrolet.
Don't have
just Chevrolet. Yeah, they're going to drop the Camaro name.
Now,
well, they don't sell it anymore. They don't make it anymore.
That's like Campbell Soup just being Campbell's.
Yeah.
Toyota is leaving the drag strip racing.
Yep.
2025.
Yeah, end of this year, it's over. Well, I mentioned it earlier. Yeah.
Oh, I apologize.
No problem. Andre's the one who put it up there, and I'm going, All the cars they're showing are actually.
What's this about Walmart, Dwayne?
Well, they sell a lot of TVs, so
they bought out
They bought Vizio. They bought the company.
Well, they got enough money to do it. And apparently, it's an all-cash acquisition, $2.3 billion. I wish they'd sent 10% or
Can you
1%.
Drop a little bundle for me?
Hell, Dwayne, I'd settle for 1%.
Yeah, I had 1%, 0.5%, something like that. I don't even know I can't even do the math right now, but that'll work.
I can't either. Well, and reading some of our car news, I see they've announced a new crew chief for Ty Gibbs. That was a couple of days ago. Tyler Allen.
Yeah.
He's got a little history. The 20-car Xfinity Series, those kind of things. We'll see how they mesh out because that's such an important part to get a crew chief that's going to work well with the driver. And I can imagine Ty Gibbs might be a little tough to work with. Don't know. I know he's very competitive, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
glad to see that.
That's before that kind of if you got the right combination. Jimmy Johnson had that with the Canals, and then
yeah. Well, it's it's funny you mentioned.
Wonder Boy before him had.
I was just reading another statement that was made, even though it's an old news. That Denny was kind of surprised that Chris Gabehart was no longer going to be his crew chief anymore, and I thought they promoted him up rather than firing him. Whose fault was it?
Denny said he wasn't involved in the decision, and he thought he should have been.
So, Bob, should NASCAR playoff format debate, should wins regular season mean more? Hell yeah! That's the whole point of
yes.
That's the whole point of racing is to win.
Exactly.
Screw this point.
Yep.
Yeah, screw this point stuff. That'll make the points match the wins.
Yeah.
Don't even have points anymore. Do it just by wins.
Yep. That's it. There you go. There you go.
The point stuff is so complex. I don't think anybody of us, if we've watched it for years, we've talked about it for years, could actually tell you how it works. I can't. Stage points, win points,
freaking stage
points,
race
points for showing up, points for dousing your hat at the right time, points for saluting the national anthem, points for listening to somebody sing the national anthem. God awful. I mean,
if you guys
Wayne, you remember back in the day they used to give a point for who led the most laps, point for leading a lap,
and a point for leading the most laps.
And that's the same thing. But I agree with Sharon that shit can of points.
Bobby Allison and I think Darrell Waltrip.
The stages too. Screw the stages. I hate them.
The point thing, Bobby Allison and Darrell Waltrip were racing each other back when that was the Latford system with that additional points thing, which I don't know if the original Latford system had that. And figuring out who was going to win. And Bobby Allison got bumped out by a point or two by PW in his championship that year. And in a reverse situation, not reverse actually, but Alan Quickie, my hero, led that last race at Atlanta, and he kept Bill Elliott behind him. And of course, I was loving it for a 2-4 Thunderbirds were racing for the win. But his crew chief kept counting the points and, get points for each lap led. And he finally, late in the race, he told Alan, he said, he can't catch you now. As soon as that happened, they got into turn one, and he let Elliott go by him. And he finished second, but he didn't have to win it to win the championship. He did it by points.
Yeah.
So the closest one, and that was one of the closest ones, and Kansas, they say that when Kansas won a championship, it ticked off NASCAR, so they come up with all this crap.
Well, it's they keep saying they're trying to do things to make it more competitive or more interesting to the fans and blah blah blah. And anybody that you ask, it's like we've all said the same thing too. Why win a hell of a lot of races if they're not going to get you into the championship or get you at least a piece of it?
Yeah, exactly.
And they're trying to make it like other sports, but how do you get into playoffs in the other sports? You win a lot of contests. You win a lot of football games. You win a lot of baseball games. win a lot of basketball games, and you get into playoffs, and then it's straight up. Now, playoff situation is going to be different than it's going to be.
It doesn't matter if you hit 50 home runs. If you didn't win the game, it's a lost cause. It's just like, go back to old school racing.
Yeah.
Well, you and I both know they're never going to go back. They keep wanting to find a way forward.
The reason that NASCAR started the point system, the interesting part of that is Bill France wanted these drivers and teams to follow his entire series, go for the entire way. And the way he did that was not pay out all the money at each race. You keep some of that money back and pay out the championship at the end. But to win the championship and win an extra money, you had to run all the races because he would disqualify people from races. And I think it was in the World 600, maybe the first one, that Richard Petty and his father both got disqualified because they cut across the infield grass and a pit stop. Guy that used to run here at Langley, Gene Lovelace, ran NASCAR years ago, and Langley was not a NASCAR track at the time, but of course his shop, his upholstery shop, was in Newport News, so he came running Langley, and NASCAR suspended him for several months. He was running a, quote, outlaw organization.
We'll have to see what they come up with, trying to make something that they can sell the TV.
The thing, you know, everybody cares about a win. I mean, the only motorsport, I mean, United States, we care about the wins, okay? We don't do podium stuff, okay? As far as track racing stuff and drag racing too, we don't do podium stuff, okay? Drag racing kind of hard to do podium stuff, but road racing kind of got imported back from Europe after World War II because they've been running before that. But a lot of the stuff they do is from what they do in Europe, and of course Formula One does podium.
Well, that's because Formula One's rules are written that way. They're written to do that. And NASCAR,
but it's kind of traditional. It goes back before World War II, actually doing the podium thing and saying we had a triple win.
Well, that's the problem. NASCAR don't want to do.
Well, had finished first, second, third, and they ran a big advertisement in German, of course, that said we have a triple win. That's what they call it. In fact, they were talking on Formula One broadcast the other day about a double win for one of the teams because they finished first and second, whatever.
Well, and NASCAR don't care about tradition. NASCAR apparently not worried about tradition because all the tradition NASCAR had is gone. And every year they try to update something, they change something.
They're running at the track in North Carolina, and they decided, well, Bobby Allison better give that win back before people question us. And of course, that was perfect timing because unfortunately he passed away. But at least he got that before he was gone.
So what else? Well,
crazy.
I don't know. We'll see. We have no control over that. I mean, as much as a lot of us would, not just us here, but a lot of fans would like to see.
I mean, if you look at it like this, if you're racing, of course you want to race for the win, but also you have it in the back of your mind is I don't have to win to be a champion. And to me, that is just not a good mindset.
Well, if you get points for all these stages and stuff, all these stage points and all this kind of junk, run second or third in every three stages, because the third stage is the actual end of the race.
Except for the 600, they have 4 stages.
Yeah, 6 was, that's because it's so long.
I know.
First race I went to was World 663.
Maybe they should do like an intermission instead of stages. Halfway through the race, have a little intermission,
Well, that's what the truck races used to be about. And as we had there, he used to run the trucks, and they decided to change it. And as far as I'm concerned, it screwed the truck series up, because the concept was smaller teams could run a national circuit if they wanted to. And they had not pit stop, but actually breaks where they could tune, they could do some pit stop style adjustments, if you will, and change tires and fuel it, and then get back in you know, the line they were in when they stopped and run again. So you didn't have to have a big pit crew.
I understand the concept beside the stages and to try to get the people, you know, all back together and stuff. But
it is a way to run one of those bogus caution flags without having to try to pretend there's something on the track.
Exactly. That's why I said maybe just do like halfway, do an intermission thing. You know, everybody gets 5 minutes on pit row or whatever to piss off.
The biggest thing that bothers me right now, I'm talking about pit road stuff, is that damaged, what do they call it anyway? I call it the damaged vehicle protocol.
Oh yeah, that thing's ridiculous.
I don't know if that's the proper term they use or not. We've seen that particularly with this new car, which NASCAR says you have to run. This design you've got to run. It's like buying a full-scale model car in a box and putting it together.
Right. That's all it's doing.
Else on it.
It's a Lego movie.
Well, it's like,
you know, and
I mean, it's like not having a Camaro for next year.
They found out what the problem is there's some, you know, the old car, you know, particularly in the rear end, you whack it and wouldn't be a problem, you know, if you run sheet metal in those days. So it was more problem bending sheet metal, cutting a tire. Now they're running composite bodies. That's the reason you can get the hail milling at Martinsville and not tear the car off.
Yeah.
And you know, banging and banging like they do now, which is fun. We always kind of like to see that. And if they don't tear the car up and knock anybody out, then you know it's kind of fun. Goes back to Curtis Turner and Joe Weatherly back in the day. But the rear suspension was turned to be pretty fragile, and it's still a problem. But now the guys that got the parts, they could fix it, but they don't have enough time.
Right.
But, you know, but that's a problem I have with that regulation. If you go behind the wall to fix it, can't do it. You know, go behind the wall, you know, they park you automatically. So
yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, you can't have like, you know, there's a picture of the 6 car. The entire sheet metal was torn off the left hand side, and he put some piece of aluminum on there and took masking tape and did the 6 on the door, and the front end was gone, the left rear fender was gone. And he was back out running again. Mark Martin back in the day. But
I guess we'll see what 25 brings.
Yep.
So at least they got rid of. We're at Bowman Gray Stadium this year, so hopefully that'll bring in some new excitement. Because California, that stadium sure the hell didn't do it.
That was a joke from the beginning.
I don't know. I mean, I know Bowman Gray's probably not any bigger than the other one, but at least we're back to our roots in, you know, North Carolina.
It's what is it's a half mile, isn't it? A little less, maybe.
I'm not sure.
Well, it's around the football field, so yeah, by about half mile, yeah.
So how big was the one in California? Was it a half mile?
A little bit smaller, I think.
I think it was smaller.
Yeah,
maybe probably 4
I mean, that was
like
Olympic
Langley
Stadium, and they had Olympic, you know, running track around the outside, but the way they set it up, it didn't take the whole, you know, about half of the what I would call the infield.
Maybe this will be a little better then. We'll see.
I mean, they had the curiosity seekers there the first year, and then the next year they just had, because of rain, they, you know, let everybody in. They wanted to show up.
I don't know the comparison of the 2 tracks, the banking and all that stuff, so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, it's Bowman Gray been famous in North Carolina for having a packed house whenever they race.
Oh yeah.
And they get crazy. Oh, it's just like, or you know, that one in Motor Mile. Motor Mile's the same way. Be kind of interesting. I just saw something advertised about Flow Racing and got me to thinking they've got a big dirt race going on up at Gateway, and something else down at Bradenton Motorsport Park. They got some big racing still going on. I saw
that as a Chili Bowl coming up, Technology Raceway, and I'm going, that's a big track. I don't understand what's going on with that.
Isn't the Chili Bowl coming up?
That's what I was thinking.
That was the ad for Chili Bowl, but it also mentioned the Worldwide Technology Raceway in there, and I don't exactly understand what was.
Well, Worldwide
the Chili Bowl's in January, ain't it? I think.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
the Worldwide Gateway race is going to be December 5th. So that's going to be tomorrow at 3:45 in the afternoon production time for the Dirt Nationals. But speaking of flow racing, they took a beating. They took a beating over that Florence race. I don't know if anybody was involved or hearing any of that. I heard Roger shaking his head just like I am. You couldn't watch the race because they lost a piece of equipment that affected their internet capability. So half the people that was streaming the race just give up and quit, went to bed because they couldn't. You missed so much of it, and then it just stopped altogether. A long pause, and they finally got it back. It made it well. If you listen to your buddy Dirty Mo, his broadcast feed, he had a big conversation about it as well too. They sent a big feed out, a Facebook post or something. I forget what it was, apologizing, talking about equipment failures and other things. I thought, you got one of the biggest races around coming to your racetrack. Why would you not make sure that all the stuff works? And if nothing else, if it's going to be a showstopper, have a backup piece.
Unanticipated consequences. Roger had one of those, didn't you, Roger? One time.
But you know what? Roger don't charge you Roger don't charge you $180 a year to stream racing.
Well, I mean, the same thing happened with the Tyson fight too. A lot of people were complaining about they did the pay-per-view and it didn't work right and blah blah.
Oh yeah, Netflix got eat alive over that one.
I mean, so why don't they just blame it on the alien invasion that's supposed to be going on?
Well, here's my thing.
In the big picture, though, you got to look at Netflix. My hands are way out, and flow racing is like down here.
Well, I understand the difference in that, but I mean,
you would not expect the super. It's like NBC losing the satellite where they can't broadcast anything anywhere.
Right.
That's kind of sort of what happened with
what happened, and I think the flow racing leans on the facility supplied by the track.
Oh, they do. They do. And it's equipment they have there too.
And see, the thing is, out at Florence, it's sort of kind of out in the boonies. They don't have a big infrastructure to handle the large bandwidth they needed. And I think what Flow wasn't thinking about was they needed to have sent the feed there to another server and let everybody access that server. That way you only had the one feed going out. Now, questionable too is how many people were on Florence's network doing whatever they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, don't know whether they have a dedicated outline or not, but Roger, you mentioned a good point, but that there are people out there that get paid to think and make sure those kinds of things are taken care of. I mean, flow racing is so large. Their big seller is that you can log in and watch races from anywhere, replays everything over and over again. And I do agree. That's kind of like the only way I can put like a parent company up here. And you're right. Every track like Langley was responsible for its equipment and stuff there as well too. But there should have been something. That wasn't a normal Saturday night race. That was a big race down there that they were working on.
I don't know.
It advertised all over. Flow advertised on Facebook. It popped up on my Facebook feed.
Well, I mean, they did the biggest advertisement in the world. They got Dale Jr.'s going to be here. Look what happened to Langley. Dale Jr.'s going to be here. They sold out tickets in an hour just because Dale Jr.'s going to be here. And then honestly, that race at Florence, he should have never been in because they were only going to start 40 cars. 4 of them were going to be provisionals. They started 41. Guess who was in the race, but probably, I don't know for a fact, probably not on a provisional, the 8 car.
Yeah. Promoter's option.
Yeah.
The reason Richard Petty's
he filled the seat, so hey, you better put his ass in the car.
Because there was at Richmond.
Well, he had the Budweiser too, so.
Oh yeah.
You remember when Richard Petty's string was broken? His race streak was broken. It was at Richmond. He was running terrible. Had run for a number of races and for a couple of years.
Yeah,
he did not qualify at Richmond. And the promoter's option, Mr. Sawyer, who knew Bill France Sr., and actually Bill France Sr. owned part of the track up there, And he said, well, I wanted to put in as a promoter's option. And the officials running the race said, we can't do this. Said, yes, you can. No, we can't. Who can? Bill Jr. can. Well, maybe call Bill Jr. He's out of the country. So Richard Petty's streak was broken because Bill Jr. was out of the country and his officials didn't want to make a decision.
Well, I don't know. To me, it goes back to the integrity of what you advertise and what you put out there. I can understand the 4 provisionals being guys that race late model race cars on a regular basis. Dale Jr. is an occasional racer. He races for the fun of it, not for the sport.
Yeah, well,
I will tell you, I know he loves the sport. And Dwayne, you know my point. It's bullshit that everybody else can get kicked out. And you say you're going to advertise and start 40 cars, and you start 41 just so you can have Dale Jr. in it. Then all of a sudden,
he was advertised to be there, and then he had a riot if he wasn't.
Everybody that's there, Dwayne, was advertised was going to be there, but their name is not Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Correct.
Or Budweiser.
Or Budweiser. Correct.
Now, back in the day, one of the things they used to do for a large name coming into like a late model race, we'll say for Langley, one of the previous owners, he would get them 2 sets of tires. They didn't have to pay for tires to race at the track.
No doubt.
One of the other things, damn it.
It's different. It's different when you have 2 heat races. He didn't make it in either one of those on time and was not sent home like the other cars that were sent home.
Right.
Because of his name.
And it's bias. I mean, right down to it. It's just
who was it that, that owned the track before when Bill was trying to buy it?
What's the name on the
Click? The Henry Click family.
Henry Click.
Lemons?
Henry Click.
Henry Click was the original guy, yeah.
Yeah. Now, what he did, if you won the championship previous years, every race you came to, you got a free set of tires just to be coming back the next year in racing.
There's all kinds of those kinds of things around there, but they advertised and had all kinds of stuff set up for everybody to be able to get there and be able to qualify. They knew up front, they had 56 cars show up. They had advertised they were going to start 40. 36 would be those that got in, and 4 would be provisionals. Nobody expected Dale Earnhardt Jr. to qualify as bad as he did, but yet somehow or another he was able to start in the back, and his car just did great up until a certain point in time when I guess the fuel pump went bad on it. Couldn't. That's just me. I'm one of them kind of guys that, when I say something, I try to, my word, I expect my word to be trusted and meant. All other people have different exceptions to that.
Well, they just want to embellish it.
I think we owe it to the rest of the community down there to stick to what the track rules and what the rules that everybody signed up for were going to be. And Dwayne, you probably hit the nail right on the head, and that can happen with any other place. The track owner provisional, if you want to call it that. Yeah, we started 40 just like we said we did, and because he's here, I'd like to start one more
option. I think whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Well,
and that happens because you get a big name. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it was Gene Lovelace back in the day, which we would never disqualified anyway, or Richard Petty, or David Pearson, or whoever. If that was a featured driver, that was the one that big advertisement was on. Back when it was Grand National, back in the day, they used to run at Langley or whatever. They would make darn sure that guy would be in the race, even if they had to put him in the back.
Well, and there's a real easy way to do that. You ain't pissing nobody else off. Just say he's going to race. He ain't got to qualify, ain't got to run, ain't got to practice. He's going to race. And put him out there. You got my point.
Racing to see
you got my point. Run. You got my point. That's correct.
Yep.
Anyway, you see where Statusys is going to become the official 3D printing partner of NASCAR? I don't have a clue who they are. It's just big. Statusys, Stratasys, STRAT. Yeah, they make 3D printing, I guess. So NASCAR, I guess, is going to start having spare parts by 3D printing. I don't know.
Might as well. That's become a big thing now. You can buy plans, and if you got a 3D printer, you can print up a model car kit.
You sure can. All you got to do is have the computerization to go with it.
I mentioned that to my son-in-law who's got a 3D printer, and I was just asking about, just curious. I was not trying to have him order that and make me that thing, but I guarantee you, if I don't see it for Christmas time, I won't be. I'll be a little shocked because I think he'll try to do it because his wife's daddy like that.
I've got some friends of mine that have one, and they make all kinds of stuff for their family.
Yeah, he's made stuff too.
Ron Klein, Roger, you know him. Ron Klein used to work race out here in Langley. They moved down to Florida.
Printers
I don't have the money to afford them.
Expensive. Yeah, they're very expensive.
Yes. Yeah, and the materials you got to use too.
You can make
well, it is that time.
It is.
Well, what else you got, Sharon?
Hang on just a minute. Butterbean responded to me, and I missed his response. So
that's
Sharon. What else you got on your notes? Oh yeah, I see that.
Anybody the Chevrolet guy is an LS block.
I went over everything that's on my pages. So
okay, I found all I could find. I like that, Dwayne. That's nice.
Yeah,
I didn't see it. What was it, Dwayne?
It was a engine block.
Oh, okay.
3D printed engine block that he did. There's a program out there to print it out, and the more I looked at it, the more I realized it wasn't what I thought it was. I'm pretty sure it's an LS Chevrolet engine. It's the wet deck.
It looks like it. The
webbing on the side where they put the engine mounts going. I've watched a lot of these TV shows on Motor Trend TV, and they're putting up these LS engines in and showing them figure out the engine mounts, and I'm saying that's what this is.
Yeah, Andre,
watching those shows is educational.
Did you guys get any snow down there? I heard Virginia was getting snow.
No.
It was cold enough, but
the mountains maybe, but not here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
it snowed in Mooresville, North Carolina. It was all over the internet.
I saw that. Yeah.
So, and my granddaughter lives in Virginia, but she lives over by the mountains. So she was.
Well, that's more likely where it would happen. I look at the. Oh, hello.
Look who's coming on.
It's the Bean.
What's up?
Better late
than
never.
Man.
How y'all doing?
Hello, young sir.
How y'all doing?
We're doing well, thank you.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was very nice to spend some time with everybody, and obviously our Thanksgiving every year is pretty quick. We do it and then we go to Kinley, so really hadn't had much time to slow down, and I'm pretty much booked. I don't really get an off season this winter, really. So pretty much going nonstop until the Daytona test the week after New Year's. So it's
we hear congratulations is in order.
Yeah, thank you. That's it's nice to finally have something done, and know I have a ride for next year, and kind of on a more national level. So it's
yes, sir.
I'm a late model guy at heart, but I've been working hard for years to get this opportunity, and ready to make the most of it and go to work.
ARCA car is number 28, is that right?
Yes, sir. I'll be driving the Pinnacle Racing Group 28 Chevrolet.
Cool. Well, I'm a big fan of Fred Lorenzen, number 28 Ford, back in the 60s when I first started following. So I like that number a lot.
Yeah, it's really cool for a lot of reasons. The 28 just being a special number in the sport, and then obviously I signed with Clear 28 Management Group, and that's ran by Brandon McReynolds and a couple other people. So he's obviously got ties to the 28 and all that with Davey from his dad and all that. So pretty cool that I get to drive the 28 car.
That's cool. So it's going to be full time all year?
Yes, sir.
And then truck racing too?
Not as of now. I'm hoping to get some opportunities, but
okay.
Yeah, I couldn't. I tried to get a truck deal and just didn't work out. Obviously, it takes a lot.
Yep.
But I didn't know that this opportunity was available, and when it got presented to me, it kind of made sense because for my budget at the time and everything going on, this would give me the opportunity to get the 1.5 mile experience.
Yes.
Where like I might have struggled a little bit in my truck starts with that 20-minute practice. Now, if I get the opportunity midway through the year, I've been getting way more laps and experience. Even if it's ARCA, it'll still transition over to help me with those opportunities. So we're going to do what we can to try to get some more starts in trucks or Xfinity, but definitely full time in ARCA running for the national championship.
Now,
and Dwayne brought up an interesting point. We were talking about this earlier. You'll get to experience a lot more racetracks, different racetracks, and also a lot more TV time, face exposure as well too with the series as they travel around. And several times during the year, you'll be at the same tracks as either Truck Cup or Xfinity, or all of them will be at too.
Yeah, most of our races are actually Cup companion races. We have a few of them short tracks obviously aren't, but for the most part, I think at least half or more than half of the season is companion. So that's big.
Good.
And every race next year is on FS 1 or 2. So always going to be on Fox. And Flow Racing did such a good job to help me showcase myself with the Cars Tour. But
you look like you were
obviously
having fun.
Yeah, absolutely. But obviously being on Fox is television, so that's gonna help too.
That's a good thing to know.
Are you running ARCA's whole series, or are you running East series, or?
I'm running the national as of now. It's 20 races.
Oh, okay, good.
There's a few East races that we don't go to, but they're looking at trying to make that happen to where I can run for the East also. But right now the focus is the national series.
Okay.
That's the big one, so that's good. So you've raced both ARCA and trucks, and we were just talking about this earlier, how different the trucks are compared to the cars. How does that affect you going from one to the other?
I don't know if it really affects me since I don't really know any better because I don't have the experience on the bigger stuff. But it's the same motors in ARCA and truck with the Ilmore, so that that's all the same fuel. The biggest difference is going to be obviously you're driving a truck versus a car, so the way the air works when you're racing people and stuff like that. So that'd probably be the biggest differences that you'd have to get used to. But I feel like short track wise, it's all going to be pretty close. You're kind of driving compared to what I'm used to racing late miles. You feel like you're in a tank.
But I mean, the flow on the trucks, the airflow on the trucks is so much different than the cars. So does that have anything to do with the effect of it?
Yeah, on the bigger tracks, I'd say so. I'm sure once I get to run into ARCA car, I'll be able to give you a better answer on what I feel is the difference. But yeah, I would definitely think having that long bed on the truck's going to react way different than the car.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I think.
How did mom and dad react when you told them about it, or were they part of the whole thing?
No, they I'd been kind of handling it for months. All this really started months ago. Just talking to teams and trying to figure out where I was going to go, if I was going to stay in a late model another year. I didn't really feel like I needed to stay in a late model. I felt like I've done everything besides pretty much win Martinsville. Yeah. Felt like if you're gonna make a move, now's the time because you can always come back and run late models. So this all started over the summer, really when I was running those truck races, just trying to kind of figure out what was available, what was out there, and things weren't looking good. Had a lot of doors shut that looked good, and thought I was going in one direction, and then that shut. And then obviously the rumor mill out there, like everybody thought I was going to Tricon, and then they thought I was going here, and just kind of trying to process it and not get down, keep everything positive. And the Pinnacle deal came to the table probably, I would say, I don't know, October-ish range. Yeah, maybe right before November. And it happened pretty quick. I mean, once we met with them and both sides really wanted to make it work, and it just was like it was a really good opportunity that I couldn't pass up. Shane Huffman and Mark and his wife and everybody that owns the team, and just I fit right in and felt good, and that was really the only option I had at the time when we sat down and talked with them. And then I had to make some tough decisions because other stuff kind of got thrown in there, and I just felt like this was the best decision for my career at this point.
Well, Brenden, this looks at that organization because we looked at the announcement and about that organization. They run the cars tour, also run late models as well. Will you have any time to jump in one of those, or you be running ARCA all the
time? As of right now, I don't have any late model stuff lined up. Obviously, I talked to Lee, and there's a couple of races I've talked to him about I wanted to run. Like I told him to keep my seats up there. And don't
good.
And keep them
warm too.
Keep them. Yeah, I was like, if I get the opportunity, they're already up there. Just stick them in the car, and hopefully I can run some one-offs with them. As far as the Pinnacle car, I don't know what their plans are with their car, but no, hadn't talked to them about any of that. But I have talked to Lee, and hopefully run some big shows. That'd be nice. Or never know, you might need to fill in on a one-off car store race or something. But definitely keep the door open to race late model when I can, as long as it doesn't take away from my my ARCA stuff or getting a truck or Xfinity opportunity. Obviously, that's going to be my main goal for the next little bit of my career. But you know me, if it works out, I'll always go run a late model.
Have you had or how much seat time have you had in an ARCA car so far?
I ran Daytona, and that's about it. So I don't really have any seat time other than just cars tour, doing that and the truck stuff last year. So I don't.
Yeah.
I think I'll be fine once we get to going. It'll be nice working with the same group every week and being the guy like that's driving for them. So you don't have to do a lot of bouncing around. You can kind of get to gelling with your crew, and that to me means more than anything. If you're all on the same page, you're going to be fast.
Yeah, we talked a lot about other teams, the big boy teams, the same way that there's so much synergy between you and the team, you and the crew chief. It makes a world of difference in your competition.
Yeah, I mean, that's what made my Lee Pulliam team so good. I mean, we were so close, and
good.
I definitely enjoyed my time there. So I think that's why we were so successful.
Now, did you make sure that into the contract that any wins you go straight to the Waffle House?
No, I did tell them, which they knew. That's a good part is with them having a late model, they've raced against me and know who I am. So, to me, that was that they already knew, and we joked about it a little bit. So it's if we win Daytona, I will have the whole truck driver and everybody going to the Waffle House on the way out. So we're gonna make it happen somewhere along the way.
I'm gonna get that Waffle House on the car somehow.
Man, we need to. As much business as I've sent them, you'd think they'd want to help me.
Well, I think
they probably said, "Oh, keep that boy winning, and we'll keep making the money."
Yeah, no lie.
Waffle Houses are owned by individuals, though, too. Even though it's a conglomerate, I think they're independent.
A franchise, yeah.
Well. So
even at that, it's like with McDonald's or whatever. The group pays in money for advertising. I don't know what advertising.
Yeah, their advertisement deals weird. We talked to some people, and I don't think they're like not into sponsoring stuff like that.
It's really weird though, is because when I worked for Richard Petty and he was with Smithfield, he would do ads for Waffle House, and they had Smithfield bacon.
Because the the only time you'll see Waffle House on anything is if Smithfield, like because of them using Smithfield bacon, that's why that Smithfield puts Waffle House on the car instead. And like I found out, like when with the Eric Almirola and the IHOP, it wasn't really IHOP sponsoring them. It's Smithfield. They just ran IHOP because IHOP uses their bacon.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Well, you better get talking to Smithfield then.
They pulled out. They pulled out
hey,
after Eric left. So
we need to get them back in. I mean, I'm not far from where they're at. So Virginia,
yeah, I know.
You got to support the Virginia guy.
Yeah, they might. You never know.
You think you're going
to? Kind of creepy though. I mean, I worked with Eric when I was with Richard, and they actually painted his portrait in their garage.
Yeah, they love Eric.
Eric would stay at their house and everything. They were a nice group. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it was nice. They're nice people and everything, but I thought that was kind of weird.
Now, I know you like coming out here for the Hampton Heat. Think you're going to have a problem with that with the ARCA?
As of now, I would race Dover the day before, so that is a race that I want to run. I really want to try to win my fourth and go into the all-time win lead on that. I've already obviously told Lee that, and we're all aware of it. I even probably messaged Vaughn when he talked about trying to qualify on Friday night instead, and told him do not do that because I want to race that race.
I want a provisional start.
But my luck is that I'll get overtold on that, and they'll qualify. But you know what? Even if I had to start at the rear, I'd still come run it. But I really hope they don't change the schedule. It's been the same for years. Leave it alone. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
The thing about that I liked for you, that was when you raced your first truck race, and it was on the short tracks.
That's right.
And you were not going to give up to any of those boys. You were going to let them know you were there. And I think that's where you got a lot of your big time exposure.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't afraid to put some donuts on some people. I mean, but I felt like I was racing for my career. Like that's the difference. That's the difference. Is a lot of those guys, they don't have to worry about it. They've always had family money, or always been in the clique. Where somebody like me, who's had to work and grind to get that opportunity, like I wasn't going to just roll over. Like if I went out there and didn't give it 200%, then why am I even, trying to, why am I out there? Like I'm not guaranteed another start like those guys. So I felt like I had to lay it all on the line. And if I ended up crashing, that's not what I wanted. And I wasn't going to crash it on my control. Like I was on the line of where I felt comfortable. Anything can happen. But I really didn't want to tear anybody's or my equipment up or anything. But I felt like it was what I did was short track racing, and we had a shot at it.
Yeah,
I think watching you on the track, you were having a blast yourself.
Yeah, I did. The first day was a little nerve-wracking, just because I'd never drove a truck, and then when we went top of the board in practice, I was like, we can do this. Like I'm gonna be just fine. And then qualifying, getting rained out, and having to start at the back, there really won't no pressure, because I'm like, well, honestly, I was more stressed for qualifying because of the fact that I was fastest in practice. So I'm like, well, now I feel like we have a shot at the pole. And when it got rained out, I just kind of was like, well, I really can't go backwards, but like 5 spots, so we might as well go forward.
And
that's good.
Those guys, I think, just were not ready for somebody that, as you're saying, you're racing for a job. They already had one.
That's right. 100%.
You're wanting to take and put your name out there so that they know that you're a force to be reckoned with.
I know. It felt like when we were up there racing with Ekis, who was leading the points, it's like that right there showed that it wasn't that we didn't respect him or anything, but I felt like he had, if he was worried about me, he could have got behind me and saved his points. Like I'm there to win the race.
That's what it is.
Some trophies, like they say it. What the colleague says all the time.
Well, he did something.
Go ahead, Sharon.
Right. I was going to say, obviously he did something right because you impressed somebody enough to give you a full-time ride.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way these deals work. Obviously, you got to bring everybody knows you got to bring your sponsors and bring some funding, but these teams don't have to take you. There's a lot of people with a lot more money than me around, and when the teams actually want you and are willing to try to work with you to make these deals work, that's the difference. Even though you got they all cost and they can say whatever they want. That's just how racing is nowadays. But when the team truly puts everything aside to try to secure you, that means a lot, and that makes you feel like you're doing something right. So I felt welcomed from day one with Pinnacle, and
good. Very good.
I feel like they believe in me, and I obviously believe in them. So I'm excited.
Well, I mean, they're going to want to return on their revenue. That's what sponsors want. That's the whole reason. And if you're got somebody out there that's, running 20th or whatever, they're not getting TV time, but you got somebody else that's running, the top 5 and getting that TV time, it makes a big difference to the sponsor. And if you're a good person and you're out here on social media and doing all this stuff and doing videos and all that crap, that adds up for a sponsor as well. So make sure you put that out there for them, because then you'll get even more sponsors.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my sponsors are great. Obviously the State and Family and everybody with them and Best Repair do a lot for me, and that's a little bit different sponsor because they're not doing it for anything but to help me. They're not going to get any business out in Kansas, but they put the funding in because they want to help somebody like me. They take me in like another kid in the family to them, and they just take care of me. So we're hoping we can sell some races with Clear 28 and get somebody else on the car that really wants the advertising. But worst case, the deal's done and Best Repair will be on the car. But that's what makes them such a great sponsor, is because they're not doing it. They're not doing it for advertisement. They're doing it to help me. So,
well, you bring a lot. You bring a lot to the table, and I know you don't like to toot your own horn that much. But if you look at the record that you have and how you got to where you are, and anybody that's ever seen you in a victory lane for an interview knows you know how to speak. Well, you do. You know how to speak. You know how to represent the sponsor. You know how to represent the car. You drive the hell out of anything you get behind the wheel of, but you're a well-respected driver as well, too. So no doubt that we were surprised, not surprised that somebody did pick you up, because you'll do them very well as well, too. And you drive clean. I don't care what the other drivers say. I never heard anything bad about you, honestly. Never have. I mean, when you're bumping and beating on each other, it's for a different reason. You're not doing it because you hate somebody or you're trying to take them out. You're racing for the win. And that's exactly what all of you are out there to do.
Yeah, it's I appreciate that, first off. And early on in my career, it was a little hairy of how I would be viewed by the competitors, and I'm content with it. I felt like if I quit late model racing for good, I would leave my mark as one of the guys that they talk about that won races and was a contender. And that's really all I wanted to do, was be one of the late model guys that people talked about. And I feel like the last 5 years has put my name there in that list, with stuff I've accomplished. And 20 years from now, I feel like they'll talk about me being one of the greats in late model racing.
I think so. Yeah.
But I'm an old school racer for sure. Like I love to beat and bang and grind it out and go for the win. I don't try to do anything like intentional. But I don't mind getting aggressive and giving back what I get. And I feel like some people have different opinions on that, and that's okay. That's what makes the sport what it is, and that's what makes people love the way I drive or they hate the way I drive. But you win a lot of races doing it too. So that's I'm not going to change anything about it. It's just the way I've always raced, and feel like I feel like I do have a lot of respect from the guys I race with, because we race each other the same.
Yeah, I think you'll get a lot of TV time because you'll be. Well, first of all, they'll say this guy's known as Butterbean, and that always gets attention. But also, they'll talk a little about what you've been doing, and you're a fairly young guy, and you'll be passing a lot of people. And if you pass people, you're going to get on TV.
That's right.
And I think you're going to do that. I really do.
Well, and don't forget, you've got Bean Nation that follows you around too.
I'm excited to see how many fans show up at the ARCA races for sure. I'm excited to show my personality on that level. I really hope we can get some wins early, and I can show people who I am, and not faking it, just show them who I am, and hopefully get that following on that level, and just go have fun and seize the opportunity, seize the moment, and I feel like we'll be good. I mean, the car is going to be good. That team's really good, and Connor Zilic did a great job in it last year, and I think Connor Mozak won a race or two in it. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be fast. I just got to do my job.
That's easy.
Reckoned with.
Well, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
To understand how these stepping stones work. I don't know if you're familiar with my company MDR or not, but what I do is I help young photographers and journalists try to work their way up. So if you would be willing, I would like to send one of my journalists to maybe interview you for a magazine.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you need a photographer, I have a young lady that graduated from college. She does videos and all that stuff. So if you need someone like that, she would probably love to come and work with you and do some photography work and some videos for you. She has access to some of the tracks already because I get her into some of them, and then she's got some contacts with some of the truck drivers at Xfinity. But if you've been interested, let Roger know, and I'll get your number, and maybe we can work something out. She's really, really good. She is very good.
Yeah, no, we're always looking. I feel like it's last year on the tour I had a photographer that did my stuff weekly. Not quite sure, waiting to kind of find out what he's doing next year. My girlfriend, she used to work at Hendrick, and she does a lot of my social media stuff for me. And that's kind of how that came about. And then obviously I signed with Clear 28. So like the Cup companion stuff, I know my management group will be at those races, but I think the team has a company that they work with, but I won't really know kind of till we get going how it's going to flow. So always keep things in mind, like it's, it'll probably take a race or two to figure out, or during the test, I'll probably get an idea of what things are going to be looking like. So yeah,
these are all young people trying to get their foot in the door.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
I'm always looking for opportunities for them to help them out as much as I can. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be around doing this stuff, so I'm getting old.
No, I respect that. So yeah, just get Roger to get with me, and we can get some of that set up. So
okay.
When I saw the announcement, I had one word for you.
It
was finally.
Yeah, oh man. I knew 2 or 3 weeks, no, probably three weeks ago, the deal was signed for maybe a month. And man, it was tough. I mean, I was getting pressured every day from people wanting to know. And the funny part was everybody that was like, "Oh, I know you're driving a truck," and I'm like, "No, I'm not." And they're like, "You're lying." And I'm like, "I can promise you, I'm not driving a truck full time."
You never answered my question. What'd your mom and dad think?
Oh yeah, we did. That's right. We kind of went over it. They man, they're excited. Obviously, they're sad. Like my mom's sad because I'm moving down there, but But you know, she'll be all right. But yeah, them dad's excited. Just kind of a breath of relief. I mean, they've been with me from the beginning of this, back when I was 6 years old, go-kart racing. So kind of a long road of hard work from everybody. And then obviously, like the last 2 years, you know, the Statons had kind of relieved my parents of that, and they've been funding my car store deal. But just seeing it all come together and finally getting a shot on a national level, even if it's not the top three. I mean, ARCA is still a very good stepping stone. I know ARCA gets its, you know, it's bad rep sometimes, but I look at it as, you know, it's a big deal to be on that level, to go to these big tracks and get the experience, and you're racing at the places, you're in the loop with the Cup and the truck and the Xfinity, and you know, there's a reason they have that series, so it's gonna be good.
Yeah, you get watched it. You get seen.
The best comment of the day, someone said, I hope you make ARCA racing great again. So I guess that's my goal for the year.
Yeah. Oh my God, you should put it on a hat.
I guess that's gonna be Brenden Butterbean's goal, is to make people watch ARCA racing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, I used to love, you know, the problem with ARCA, it was never on TV, almost never, except for Daytona. They run dirt track racing.
I know. I'm excited. Man, I'm excited. I get to go run 2 dirt races with them.
Cool.
And 2 road courses. I've never done road courses, so that's gonna be it's gonna be good. Excited about that challenge. Obviously you get the 2 super speedways, Daytona and Dega, and then you get, you know, we get to go to Bristol, Dover, Charlotte, Kansas, Michigan, Iowa. There's some cool places on there. So gonna get a lot of experience, a lot of new tracks.
Have you ever been to Dega?
I have not. I've been to Daytona, but not Dega.
Dega is crazy. So
yeah, I have a feeling after my race I will make a trip to the infield to greet some Bean Nation. I hope we might convert some people to Bean Nation when I go out there, but I'm gonna make sure somehow I get on a golf cart to go out there.
That's good. Hey, where are you moving to?
I was gonna ask the same thing. Where are you moving to?
Just Mooresville.
Mooresville?
Oh, okay.
I lived there for 8 years. It's nice. So
yeah, I'm excited. It'll be fun.
Do you have a roomie or something that you're staying with, or looking for a place?
Just my girlfriend and I are moving.
Okay. Good. Congratulations. That's a good deal.
Now,
yes, sir.
I've got a question for you. Since she's moving with you, is there further down the line something coming along?
Sure. One thing at a time.
She just rolled her eyes. She just rolled her eyes at that. So
she's there.
Tell her to go in the other room so we can get any good scoops.
Trust me, she's going to give me more crap now that you brought it up again. So thank you.
Yes, leave it to Roger. Right, he's good for that.
We ask the questions and everybody.
Stir the pot, Roger. Stir the pot.
Should tell her to come behind you and start giving you a neck massage or something.
So I'm not familiar with the race schedule. So when is your first race?
The day before the 500.
Daytona.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Did you say you had to go test there yet, though?
Yeah, ARCA does a test in January.
Right. I've been there for a couple times with some drivers, so yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be at the test. It's early this year. It's like the week after. It's like the 9th and the 10th.
Check the weather because it can get crazy there. I've been in Daytona and it has snowed, and I have been there when you're roasting your Tootsies off. So check the weather and make sure you adjust yourself for that.
I will. I will be ready to go.
So, and if you can stay on the beach, it's really nice.
You going to keep the your haircut the way you always do, or is that going to get changed around?
They hadn't told me I had to change it, so I'm going to keep rolling with it.
There you go. That's part of you.
I know. I don't think anybody's going to make me change it. That's for sure. Right now, that's the brand, and they just roll with it.
That's it. They got to.
Now, how did you feel about losing the 03 number?
I really hadn't thought much about it, honestly. Like it's going to be weird for sure, but I don't know. I'm sure it'll hit me once I start racing and I don't see it. But
you can
to
put
be
a little
honest,
tiny 03 right about the A pillar on your window.
I know. Yeah,
So that way you know which car you're getting into.
Yeah, I don't think it'll mess me up as bad because like I'll still be able to go race a late model and put an 03 on it or something, you know. So not super upset yet. I say that it could change, but I think I'll be all right. But I mean, I guess I kind of got used to it running the truck and being one, you know, like it kind of got me ready for it, like knowing that I couldn't run 03 on the truck. So, but there is a 03 ARCA car that races, so that might be a little weird.
I got to beat myself, damn it.
But you've already had good conversation and good talk about the number 28. So I think that'll be good for you there too. So
yeah, that's right.
There's good history with it.
I think it's a good number. I mean, especially for the sport, like it's a cool number, and I love the history. So I think it's that'd be cool. Be cool to be that number.
We won't get to see the hat anymore.
I'll still wear it. I'm wearing it right now. I'm wearing their hoodie and my hat. So
I noticed.
They'll give you a hat, I'm sure.
So when does the merchandise come out?
Whenever we figure out the scheme. Once we get the scheme done, I can come out with merch.
What it's going to be. That'll be good. Bean Nation will be really happy about it.
Oh, yeah. They'll be ready.
Well, I mean, they were even talking about Bean Nation when you were doing the truck race. How many people were screaming and hollering for you with that one?
They said there were more Bean Nation shirts than any other shirts they saw out there.
It was crazy. It was electric that day. I mean, like, I'm so glad I got to experience it because it's something that like it might not your debut only happens once, but that moment is a moment of a lifetime. The way it all just you can't recreate it. So like it was really cool. Only thing that made better is if I'd have won the race, but other than that, it was perfect.
Yes.
Well, and I mean, sponsors look at that too. They look at your fan base, so that that really helps too in the long run.
Yeah, it's been incredible, the fan base. Like I don't know. I don't really know how it happened, but I feel like coming up, like you always wanted fans, but like I don't know what happened at Langley, but it just like overnight turned around and next thing you know, like when I'd get announced for Hampton Heat, this is before I was driving for Lee, like it started getting louder and louder, and then like man, when I was driving for Lee and I'd come back into town, those races they would go ballistic.
You know what? That's something every driver out there is envious of you for, because there's not that many people that have them.
No, it was cool, and then to win the most popular driver award this year on the tour was cool, just because like you always know, like you come back to Langley, you got fans and they go crazy for the hometown people, but like just to see it on the more touring series to win that award was really cool, because like all the wins are nice and the trophies are nice, but like that most popular driver award is special because of what it means.
Yep.
Now, one of the reasons I was asking about your mom and dad, now are they going to be going to any of the races? I'm sure they're going to the first one.
Of course.
I'm sure. That's a question for them, but I'm sure they will.
Because I know how she is about when you were running late models. I was in the infield and I'd be talking with her, and she'd be walking the track, following you around the whole time.
Oh yeah.
That's what parents do.
Oh my God! I mean, she was literally walking a smaller version of Langley Speedway with the dog, and I just could not believe she had to put in 25,000 steps.
Oh yeah, every week.
Well, now these tracks will be a lot bigger, so she'll be putting in a lot more steps.
Yeah, she doesn't do that anymore. Ever since late model racing, she stopped that. So
Daytona's a big track.
Yeah, she as long as she hears me on the radio, she's fine. She just listens in on the scanner.
Yeah,
that's good.
Toward the end there, she did start not walking as much. She would still be down there, and then when you were doing the cars tour, she would then be outside the track watching it.
Yeah. She doesn't really. She gets a pit pass. She'll come in and see me and see me for a minute, but she's been sitting up where she could see the race, so she's been enjoying that.
Yeah, it's a lot more enjoyable from up there than.
That's right. A lot more enjoyable seeing what's going on. So, honestly, and then this year, like, she didn't come to every race. My dad didn't come to really any of them till he came to Kinley. But they watched them on Flow, and that was a different experience. But my mom, she came to quite a bit, but there was quite a bit she missed just because of how far they were and just how much it cost to go travel to them and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always enjoy getting a chance to talk with your mom when you're out racing at Langley. So.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed my time racing at Langley. It's always a part of me, and those 3 in a row championships was special. I feel like I feel like winning the tour race there in my own car was very special, and winning a Hampton Heat in my own car was cool, and then going on to win 3 of those and basically or winning or 2 in a row with Lee, undefeated with Lee, that was really special. So feel like I laugh about it, but like even at Langley, I accomplished everything I wanted between the Cars Tour win, the Hampton Heat win, the track championship. I think I've won every type of lap count race they do there, like twins and 100 lappers and 200 lappers, and then even winning the Beluso Memorial Race in a modified. Like that's a crown jewel at that track, and I feel like I've won everything I needed to do there, and like winning that modified race with Tommy Spencer was really special. And at that time, like there was 25, 30 modifieds that came to that race, and we were able to beat Matt Carter, which I felt like was the best car there, and that was a cool win. So there's so many good moments at Langley I've had.
Is someone documenting all this for you?
My brain.
That's what I'm talking about. Your history needs to be put down on paper somewhere where you got that and can document it and have it available.
No lie. Yeah, it's
not for a resume, but for the book you're going to write down.
Wikipedia page.
Yeah, I have I have a Wikipedia. Somehow somebody made me one.
Wow.
It's on there. It's on there. I don't know how it happened, but it's on there.
That's good.
Awesome.
I mean, everything's documented with photographs too, so you could just like make a
that's right.
thing and put it all out there. That's what's great about having
photos. Well, and it's cool, like, there's so many people that have been a part of me. Like, I'm just talking about the modified race. Like Tommy Spencer let me drive his modified, and then all the guys that were on my team through the years. Obviously, Phil Warren, and then going to Pulliam and everybody involved in that organization, and then people that were on my legend car back in the day. Like, there's so many people that have been able to work with me and help and be a small part of it. Like I tell Phil all the time, I'm like, you might not have been with me on this Cars Tour deal, but like without you, I'm not ready for this opportunity. So, and same with Lee, like Lee got me ready for this next opportunity. So it's been really cool.
Good old Andre.
Yes, perfect. Like that's an example. Driving for Greer. Like I will never forget those days, and had a lot of fun. Got him his first ever late model win. I mean, that's something that I'll always be proud of. And we had a lot of fun, and we had ups and downs that year, and we took an old car that was his. It was an older one, and I mean, we won a dang race with it, and got a pole to start out, and just getting Greer those moments. He'd been racing late miles for I don't know how many years and never won. And then even though the Hampton Heat was in my car, Greer was a part of it. He was still with me. We had his car in the trailer, so Greer got to be on that Hampton Heat win. So, all of that's cool. Like Greer, that's a good example. Like, I wasn't even going to race that year hardly, and that was when I got my first ARCA start. That kind of messed everything up, and Greer came in and provided me a car and a motor, and we went racing. So we were only going to run a couple of races, and we ended up running the whole season.
Funny how all that stuff happens. I mean, granted, back when you're looking at it at the front side of it, oh, we're just going to do a couple of races, and damn, all of a sudden,
yeah, I remember Greer asked me, like, he told me like his budget and like, you know, how many races he was looking to run, and then like I knew I had some of my sponsors too, but like Old School and Mac McKee and those people that helped me a lot along the way. Like that's another example. But I said I really want to run opening night. Like that was one race I wanted to run, and we ran it, and we ended up running every race. So I think because we went and got the pole and finished second. So I think that kind of made Greer a little excited there. So we kept coming back for more.
We're gonna find some money.
Yeah, so that was a cool moment though. First race for Greer and getting the pole. That was my first pole at Langley. And like, you know, motormen, like Rayvon Clark was with me all them years, and then that first pole at Langley and my first win at Langley was a Charlie High motor. So like I got to experience having Charlie in Victory Lane with me. Like that's something that they can't take away from me. I have a photo of us in Victory Lane. And then, you know, David West has been doing Lee's motors. So like without those three guys, I don't win these races. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Just have some photo albums and just start at the beginning and go through and put all those memories together, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Why you go make more? We're glad for you, buddy.
The thing is that you can fall back on them later when you do like your throwback stuff and stuff like that for social media. It's always good to do that stuff. I see other drivers doing it all the time. So, you know, people want to know where you came from. You know, when you get new fans in, they're not going to they're going to know what's going on right now. They're not going to know what's going on in the past. So it's nice to do that throwback stuff now.
Throwback scheme. You could use that font on your 03 for the 28 one race.
I know, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Might be copyrighted.
With an 8-bit or 16-bit, I don't know. Roger could
say. Yeah,
that's cool. That's old 8-bit. That's old 8-bit.
Yeah.
God, I was sitting here the other day. I was looking back at some of my old videos that I used to do. We were running 640 by 480 for display resolution, and on this stuff, you're running 1920 by 1080, which is 1080p. So that's a huge difference. It's like the old time TV shows you used to watch at. And if you look at it on your big screen TV now, you'll notice that it's skinny down because it's not big enough to fill the screen.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a 1 by 30, was it 1 by 1.33 or something like that, too. What they use on film for movies for years, and the TVs are made that way, so.
Where am I at?
Now, what's your next step after winning ARCA series?
I don't know.
Waffle House.
Yeah, Waffle House.
A lot of waffles.
You know, I don't know. We're just kind of taking it day by day and just trying to get the best opportunity ahead. So we'll that's a stay tuned question, really. We'll just see what happens along the year, and obviously I want to, you know, move up for sure, but just have to see how this year plays out, and that's going to dictate a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know I just said for a few minutes, and we got you on a roll. It's been almost a freaking hour.
Yeah, I know.
Your girlfriend's we're not there, so she'll kill you, not us.
Yeah, she'll be all right. I got my dog right here I got to give him a bath tonight. So
fun.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
How's your dog doing?
Good. You don't know this dog probably. Well, actually you do. The little baby boxer that I had.
Baby boxer you had, yeah.
Yeah. So his name's Stroker Ace, and
there you go.
Yeah. Come here, Stroker. I'll try to get him to come over here. He's scared of every little box. We're packing up stuff, but yeah, I got him right here.
Oh
my gosh!
Aw.
Yeah, he's tearing up whatever he wants to tear up. So he's I haven't bothered him in an hour, so he figured he was gonna come bother me. So
there you go.
I got the book too. So
there's Stroker Ace's book.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can't see it. It went away. Oh,
Stand on it. Novel by Stroker Ace.
I see it now. I love it. I got
that book. I got it. I've been waiting to try to get it for years. I read an excerpt in a Playboy magazine, and I laughed my butt off, and I finally got a hold of it.
I love it.
About 1973 or something like that. It's actually autographed too.
It's funny how we name our dogs. I had a dog named Daytona for 15 years.
You remember Brian Morehouse?
Yeah.
He had a beagle named Bristol.
Nice.
Yeah, sure did.
Yep. Now mine's Kylo Ren. So.
Uh-oh.
All right, Butterbean, we're boring him now. Okay.
No, I'm tagging along here. I'm old. I go to bed early now.
Only time you're up late racing.
That's about right.
All right, Mr. McQueen, I have ties older than you. I don't wear ties anymore, but I have ties older than you. Honest to God, I got a 1976 bicentennial tie.
That's hilarious.
People don't know what that is.
I got a closet with about 80 ties in it, and I know they're all older than you.
Yeah,
I haven't worn them in forever.
At least that many.
NASCAR banquets are the only time I wear them.
Yep.
I blame it on the time change and the weather makes me tired. So
yeah, it does. Thanks for being with us tonight and hanging out there for us.
Yeah,
good catch, Roger. I'm glad Roger was able to get in touch with you.
No, sorry.
Good job, Roger.
Sorry, I was late. I don't know what I was doing, but I got your text. I said, let me text him back. So
it just snowed in Mooresville, so you missed it.
I didn't even notice you'd sent me a message back yet.
No, you're fine. Sorry about that.
That's
I try to get on when I can. So
it all worked out good.
Yeah, they just had snow in Mooresville, so be glad you missed that.
I saw that.
I'm not too far from you. I'm in South Carolina, just across the border. So
there you go. I was just there 2 weeks ago.
Well, stay in touch. Stay in touch with us, and remember, we're on every Wednesday night. Roger, he did give us Thanksgiving off.
Yeah, we had Thanksgiving off.
Well, okay. Coming up though, not next Wednesday, but the next 2 Wednesdays. One's Christmas Day and one's New Year's Day. So what are we doing?
Yeah,
I'll be in PRI next week. So
okay, good for you.
I think I'd see if we could do this show and get drunk and see how that goes.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Hopefully, I'll be with some of my grandkids and their parents and all that. We'll see.
I sent you a friend request on Facebook, Butterbean.
Okay, thank you.
Do you need any? Let me know. I'd love to get you in the magazine and get some of these kids on there to help you out.
All right.
They come to the races. They get their own deals.
Okay.
Show up, kind of. So.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
No problem.
Good luck where you move. Good luck where you move.
Yeah, old man, get out of here.
See y'all. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Have fun.
Thanks, man.
That was cool. Good job, Roger.
He is a fine young man.
Yes.
He is. He will do well. He'll go a long way.
He is very talented in an automobile and race car, and he's very personable, as we just saw, and he'll do well. And Sharon, I think your folks, if they get a chance to interview him and take pictures, they're going to have fun.
Oh, yeah.
I just had a chance to chat with him for like a second.
It doesn't matter what he's had, how successful he's been. He's always stayed humble.
And I mean, and that's most of them are that way. We got a few out there. I mean, I could drop some names for you, but I won't.
Be Madonna's.
All right. All right. I'm gonna bail out of here too. It's 9:00.
There's a guy that's a character for you. If I can show it,
we can't see it. It's that background.
Looks like
put it closer. There you go.
Josh Williams.
Josh Williams.
Oh my God, he's funny. He's funny. I met him a couple times in Charlotte.
Another guy with a mullet, even longer than Butterbean. Butterbean's is short compared to Josh.
Well, he cut the top and the sides. He's keeping that mullet. He ain't getting rid of that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he should get a Butterbean do shirt.
Yeah. Oh man.
We met. I think you guys met Josh when we were at Richmond, didn't you?
Yeah.
I met him in Charlotte a couple times. So
yeah, you've known him for a bit too. All right, gang, I'm gonna bail out too. Good show tonight.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, straight up. Matter of fact,
past all our bedtimes.
Yeah.
Hey, watch it now.
Yeah, listen to Butterbean. Yeah, now he's older. He's going to bed earlier. Older, my ass. he forgot who he was talking to, didn't he?
All of us old farts on here.
Tell him he's got a long way to go yet till he gets up with us.
I know. Well, thankfully so. All right, gang. We'll catch you up next weekend here.
We'll catch everybody next week on Let's Talk Racing.
Talk Racing.
See ya.
Good evening.
Bye.
Bicycle.